Y'all, Tiffany Henderson just hit rock bottom, and she just came out to admit that she's broke as not just that, but she's begging us regular folks for money to continue her lavish lifestyle. So it looks like she's gone from throwing money around like it's nothing to straight up begging on GoFundMe. Y'all, we're talking about a woman who spent $199,000 on welcome banners, and now she can't even pay the bill. How messy is this? Sheshi used to live like a queen on taxpayer money. We were talking fancy trips, a whole $1 million security team following her around, but that's not all, because it turns out that she also personally allegedly borrowed millions of dollars in city infrastructures down as collateral. Y'all, this situation is hot. The tea is coming in like a flood because the creditors are suing Tiffany to get their money back, and it's not looking good from his Henyard or the good people of Dalton. It's a hot mess, and we're just getting started now. Before we get into Tiffany's debts, let's talk about how Tiffany turned taxpayer money into her personal piggy bank. And what if I told you she spent more on welcome banners than some folks in Dalton make in a whole year? Y'all, this is next level crazy. We're talking about a woman who acted like she had a blank check from the city, and y'all, she was not afraid to use it. So let's break it. Tiffany dropped $99,000 on a welcome banner and $119,000 on banners with her face plastered all over them, while the average household in Dalton is scraping by on less than $30,000 a year. Talk about being out of touch, y'all. She needed to go out and touch some grass and feel how expensive it had gotten. But wait, y'all, it gets worse. While Tiffany was living it up, the town of Dalton was sinking deeper and deeper into debt. We're talking about a place where the fire department hasn't had a contract for a whole 5 years. The people risking their lives to save others can't even get a proper contract. But the Miss Thing is over here spending thousands of welcome signs, and let's not forget about her little trips to Vegas while Dalton residents were struggling to make ends meet. Tiffany was allegedly living it up in Sin City, but that's not even the worst of it. She had a whole security detail following her around, costing the village hundreds of thousands of dollars each year, and some of these officers were making over $133,000 in a single pay period just because of overtime. That's more than some people in making 3 or 4 years. All it's like she forgot she was running a town and thought she was some type of celebrity. But here's the thing, celebrities use their own money. Tiffany was using taxpayer dollars though, and now the town can't even pay. The company that made the majority of those elaborate welcome banners is still waiting for payment for his bills, and they're not the only ones. However, Tiffany didn't stop at just using public funds. She also took out personal loans totaling millions of dollars, which she is now unable to repay. It seems as though she mistakenly believed that her money would never run out, but alas, it does. It appears that Tiffany is in serious financial trouble. The police department's vehicles are in danger of being repossessed because the town cannot afford them. Can you imagine calling 911 and discovering that there is no car available to assist you? Well, they certainly roll. Dalton is dealing with the reality that Tiffany was unable to control her spending, so she ended up taking on a side gig where she turned moldy walls into cold, hard cash. If you thought Tiffany was crazy, wait until you hear about her side business. What is the maximum tenure for a mayor? This is allegedly about Section 8 housing, which is meant to help low-income people get decent housing. Your girl Tiffany allegedly saw dollar signs and decided to cash in. But here's the thing, Tiffany Henyard wasn't just blowing through taxpayer money like it was nothing. It turns out that she was also pulling some crazy scams. It is true that Tiffany owned the property in question and received government-provided Section 8 subsidies. However, the real kicker is that the property was a complete mess with severe mold, water damage, and other issues. Tiffany allegedly ignored this and kept collecting her checks as usual. By November 2019, the property had gotten worse that it was declared uninhabitable, and you would think that would be the end of it. However, Tiffany is also accused of continuing to cash section payments without making any repairs, leaving gaps in between. As it happens, inspections are a thing. Hence, this is when things got really ugly while Tiffany was busy playing slum. Things got really ugly. The inspection history on her property is, let me tell you, darker than a palm tree on the beach. It seems like she assumed she could just disregard all the issues and keep making money. People who already don't have much are living in appalling conditions on her rental property, and Tiffany is pocketing government funds intended to provide them with a decent place to live. It's wrong and sad, and Tiffany's mayorship is in part affected by this moldy apartment. We are conversing. Claims of financial mismanagement and corruption. The thing that really has people in a tizzy is Tiffany's apparent attitude that she's above everything. She appears to be living large and spending taxpayer money on ostentatious trips and welcome banners, whereas her own tenants are dealing with mold and leaky ceilings. It's as though she forgot that her role is to serve the people, not herself. You may be wondering what will happen with Tiffany, but let me assure you that when you tamper with government funds like that, terrible things usually happen. Questions about legal ramifications. It's possible that the Section 8 scandal, combined with everything else Tiffany has going on, will be the final straw that brings her down. However, the real bombshell is that despite all of this, Tiffany continued to act as though nothing was wrong. She continued to play the role of mayor and make decisions for Dalton. It seems as though she assumed she could ignore the situation and hoped no one would notice. But the FBI quickly became involved, looking into her finances. What they discover is that there isn't much time left before this house of cards falls. Tiffany Henyard's financial operations are the subject of a full-fledged criminal investigation by the FBI, which is not playing around. This is just a big fall for Tiffany. From grace, Tiffany went from living a lavish lifestyle to being closely watched by the federal government. Now that we've got the juicy details, the FBI isn't just looking through Tiffany's bank statements. Instead, they're digging deep. They'd issued subpoenas for both her personal transactions and the township's financial activities. That's right, they're going to go through every detail, as if they were determined to find out every penny Tiffany had ever touched. And what they're discovering is that juicy. Tiffany allegedly exploited government money for a variety of additional personal benefits, according to the probe, so she wasn't only splurging on welcome banners and vacations to Vegas. It seems like they thought being a mayor meant having a blank check to live like a queen. But here's where it gets really interesting. You know who they called in to oversee this entire investigation. We're talking about lavish excursions in the security detail that will make any celebrity jealous. That's correct. They've sent in the major guns, and former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot isn't playing around. She's uncovering under the Howard administration there was widespread financial mismanagement. It's like every time they open a drawer, more skeletons come tumbling out. And with Halloween just around the corner, it's looking like they're all coming out for a parade. Now, y'all might be wondering how Tiffany's holding up under all this heat. Let me tell you, her public image is in tatters. The people of Dalton are not having it. They're demanding accountability, answers, and some serious justice. It's like the entire town has turned on her, and honestly, can you blame them? They put their trust in her to lead. But instead, she's been steering them straight into a financial catastrophe. But it's not just the everyday folks speaking out. Local business owners and former employees are spilling all the tea to the FBI, confirming they've been interviewed about Tiffany's alleged misconduct. And honey, you know they've got the receipts. The FBI isn't playing any games. They've got electronic surveillance going on, watching her every move, just waiting for her to slip up. And it gets even juicier. Tiffany is scrambling to save her own skin, throwing her former chief aide, Keith Freeman, under the bus. She claims she relied on him for all her financial decisions, basically saying, "It wasn't me, it was him." But come on, Tiffany. When you're the mayor, the buck stops with you. You can't just throw the blame around like a hot potato and hope it all magically disappears. Tiffany has taken disappearing to a whole new level. Instead of facing the music, she's pulled a vanishing act that would make David Copperfield proud. The woman who was supposed to run Dalton has been MIA for board meetings and public appearances. We're talking about 25 meetings she's ghosted. Can you imagine your boss not showing up for work for that long? You'd be fired faster than you can say unemployment. But Tiffany, she's not just hiding at home binge watching Netflix. Oh no. Tiffany's selling off her personal stuff like it's a fire sale because, well, she's flat broke, according to the word on the street. Miss High Roller's lavish lifestyle has finally caught up with her, and now she's scraping together pennies just to keep the lights on. Meanwhile, back in Dalton, the town's falling apart faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. The village board got so fed up with Tiffany's no-show routine that they went ahead and appointed trustee Jason House as a stand-in mayor. Yep, they had to bring in a substitute because the real mayor couldn't be bothered to show up. But here's the kicker. While Tiffany's out here playing hide-and-seek, Dalton is drowning in debt. We're talking millions of dollars, and guess who's holding the bag? The hard-working folks of Dalton. They're the ones stuck with the bill after Tiffany's shopping sprees and fancy trips. It's like she forgot she was elected to serve the people, not herself. Now folks are calling her the ghost mayor. A mayor in name, but nowhere to be found when it actually counts. Let me tell you, running a town isn't like ghosting a disastrous Tinder date. You can't just leave people on hold when they're depending on you to keep things running. But while Tiffany's out there playing Where's Waldo with her constituents, the people of Dalton are left scratching their heads, wondering how they ended up with a mayor who's more interested in dodging responsibility than facing the music. It's like they elected a magician whose ultimate trick was to make herself disappear. But this isn't a magic show. Y'all, this is real life with real consequences. While Tiffany's off doing who knows what, Dalton's stuck in limbo. No leadership, no direction, just a whole lot of questions and a mountain of debt. It's like the captain jumped ship in the middle of a storm, leaving everyone else to figure out how to steer. And if you thought Tiffany's just taking a break from all the drama, think again. While Dalton struggles to keep the lights on, your girl has been making a whole new mess. She's not just running from her problems. Oh no, she's trying to pin them on someone else. Everyone else on Tiffany's blame game roster is her former chief aide Keith Freeman, whom she sings like a canary about how she relied on him for all those financial decisions that landed her in hot water. It sounds like she's trying to tell us that Freeman was the one pulling all the strings and that she was just a puppet. But when you're the mayor, you can't just say, "Oops, it wasn't me," and expect everyone to buy it. However, Freeman isn't the only person in Tiffany's crosshairs. She has lawsuits piling up quicker than dirty laundry, and each one is revealing more teeth at a Boston Harbor party. We're talking about wrongful termination, retaliation, and the works. The X was given to anyone who didn't submit. Working for Tiffany was like playing the game of do what I say or hit the highway, except worse, according to two former HR managers who say they were fired for refusing to delete public data and another employee who says they were fired for not cooperating with a plan to replace a school attorney. It is said that Tiffany was not only harassing her staff, but also targeting business owners who were not in favor of her. Lawrence Gardner claims that since he refused to contribute to one of Tiffany's events, the Dawson police hounded him and took away his company license. Talk about a shakedown. Remember how much money Tiffany was throwing around. Turns out that a lot of it was never really hers in the first place. She was borrowing it left and right. Now that those chickens are coming home to roost and they want that money, people are filing lawsuits left and right in an attempt to get their money back. It seems as though Tiffany mistakenly believed she was managing a Ponzi scheme rather than a town. This is where things get really crazy. It's absurd to think that Tiffany used public property to secure her loans instead of just borrowing money from people. But that's exactly what she did. The infrastructure wasn't even Tiffany's to begin with, and now those creditors are pounding on Dalton's door demanding payment. To try and recover their money, they're now looking to seize infrastructure, and all this chaos has caught the attention of the feds. Tiffany's old pal, Keith Freeman, isn't staying quiet anymore either. Oh no, he's ready to spill the tea and bear it all to investigators. It appears that Tiffany's plan to throw him under the bus backfired spectacularly because Freeman is allegedly cooperating. And who knows what other skeletons are about to come dancing out of Tiffany's closet, probably wearing her designer clothes too. Just when you thought Tiffany couldn't sink any lower, she's gone and pulled the most desperate move yet. You won't believe this one. Brace yourself, because your girl just shifted the table in the boldest way possible. She started her own *GoFundMe* page. Yep, the same woman who was tossing around taxpayer money like it was Monopoly cash is now begging for donations online. Can you believe the audacity? After all that lavish spending, the luxury trips, the Vegas getaways, the $119,000 welcome banners, Tiffany's now asking everyday folks to dig into their wallets for her. But let me tell you, the people of Dalton aren't just angry, they're laughing at her. How did she go from living large like Kim Kardashian to straight up asking for handouts? Make sense of it. She had millions at her disposal, and not once did she think to save, invest, or, heck, even stuff it under her mattress. Now, she's expecting the public to bail her out as if she didn't leave enough mess behind. You're probably wondering, is this GoFundMe for real? Is Tiffany really that broke, or is this just another one of her schemes? Because let's be honest, this woman has a track record of pulling fast ones. She's the ultimate hustler. Some folks are saying this is just Tiffany's final attempt to scam the public before she vanishes again. They think she'll collect whatever cash she can, then disappear faster than you can say, "Where's the mayor?" Consider how long Tiffany has been missing. They may be right. Now, allegedly, Tiffany's been a no-show at about 25 board meetings, sold off her personal belongings, and is now begging for money online. It looks like she's gearing up to skip town and leave Dalton holding the bag asterisk. Again asterisk, the people are scratching their heads, wondering how Tiffany went from living like a Kardashian to setting up a GoFundMe practically overnight. It's like she went from asterisk penthouse to pennies asterisk in the blink of an eye, and folks are starting to suspect there's more to this story than meets the eye. Some are saying this GoFundMe stunt is just Tiffany's way of trying to garner sympathy, playing the victim card in hopes that people will forget all the shady stuff she's been up to. But, honey, the people of Dalton have long memories, and they're not about to let Tiffany off the hook so easily. Let's not forget that while Tiffany's out here trying to drum up sympathy dollars, Dalton is still drowning in debt. Heck, Dalton needs its own GoFundMe at this point. The police department's cars are about to be repossessed, the fire department hasn't had a proper contract in years, and the town's credit is in the gutter. But sure, Tiffany, tell us again how asterisk you asterisk need their money. It's like Tiffany's living in her own little world where actions don't have consequences. She spent years treating Dalton like her personal piggy bank, and now that everything's come crashing down, she thinks she can just ask for a do-over. That's not how any of this works. People are starting to wonder if this GoFundMe is Tiffany's attempt to pay back the money she owes. Because remember, creditors are coming after her from every direction, or if it's just her way of funding her next disappearing act. Let's be real, Tiffany has a talent for vanishing when things get tough. But the wildest part? Despite all the mess she's caused, she's already managed to raise about $155,000 through her GoFundMe. Turns out, some folks are still falling for her act. Y'all must have money to burn, because there's no way. Tiffany doesn't need a GoFundMe. She needs a talent show or something, anything, to get this money back. But let's be honest, $155,000 isn't going to make a dent in the millions she owes. It's like trying to put out a wildfire with a water pistol. While Tiffany's busy collecting pennies online, the people of Dalton are still dealing with the fallout from her reign. And you know folks have been sounding off in the comments. Some say she's arrogant, obsessed with the lavish lifestyle, and out of touch with real leadership. True leaders don't talk down to people, one commenter said, adding, her ego is super inflated. Someone needs to pop it. Another claimed, she does it because she can, and she'll continue to do it. Some even believe the feds won't do anything because Tiffany checks too many diversity boxes, calling it black privilege. Others argue that her status as a Democrat only adds another layer of protection. So now, people are torn. Is Tiffany being set up, or is she really out here doing the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and then stay tuned for the next video.